Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Rahmatika. My student number is 83202000061. So, in this occasion, I would like to presentation the material of philosophy of education. Discuss about does education need philosophy. So I will read it, and I hope you can understand. So for the part one, it is about introduction. It might be assumed from observation of what actually happens in practice that the answer to the title's question is no. 30 or more years ago, philosophy was an essential and much needed component in the education of teachers. Now it is no longer regarded as such. Future teachers, more often than not, are prepared for their professional life without any reference to the philosophical thinking about education. It aims and purpose, its content or its links with the wider uh, preoccupation of society, which has been conducted and argued about over the centuries. But why this has happened is itself worthy of philosophy reflection. Part 2 is about recent history of philosophy in educational studies. At the same time, the dominant model of philosophizing within universities was that of conceptual analysis. The course in discipline attention to the meaning of key and often contemporary concepts as these were revealed in the different usage of particular words. Through a closer and systematic examination of language, one might contribute to the solution of problems which often arise from the bewitchment of intelligences by the unreflective use of language. Um, Putting the two together, namely the attempt to make educational studies academically respectable and the contemporary dominant of analytic philosophy in universities, teacher educators develop a particular style of thinking about education, led by a group of philosophers at the Institute of Education, University of London. Professor Richard Peters, who succeeds to the chair pillar of philosophy of education in 1962, spoke at a major conference in 1964 of the need to get rid of the undifferentiated mass, which too often passes for educational theory, and to be best educational thinking upon some academic disciplines, not least of which was that of analytic philosophy. One function of philosophy is to make those ideas explicit or bodies of knowledge for the guidance of practice, but by ensuring that the assumptions behind practice are tenable and coherent. Next is novel review. Immediately, three concepts need clarification, review, comprehensive, and independent. First, as a review, it aims to give an account of the present and changing 14 until 90 system, its achievement and its failures, the policies which shape it, and the practice which embody or do not embody those policies. The relationship of the system to the wider needs to the society, and the progression from it to the higher education, further training and employment. Second, the comprehensive finish of the review is based on the assumption that the different aspects of the 14 until 19 system, that is, providers of formal learning and the opportunities for informal learning, the funding arrangements of the system and the progression road through it, the economic needs and the level of training required of the progression road through it all interrelate. And what would at first appear to be an essentially empirical investigation turns out to be deeply philosophical. And lastly, third, the reviewer seeks to be independent. But independent of what? Certainly, it is independent of government, and indeed frequently challenge the government's account of educational aims and performance. But can any account to be independent of prejudice or of influences on realities and unaccount knowledge? The answer must in one sense be no. Perhaps this is the most significant aspect of philosophy which needs to permeate educational thinking. The clarification of one means with the sufficient clarity that others will know what would count as review. Is evidence against what is said. Uh, that's all enough for me. I'm so sorry for my mistake. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.